Hello and welcome to my spoiler-free thoughts on Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. I finally finished this game a couple days ago. Won't be diving too deep into spoiler territory, especially compared to other Yakuza games. This game took me like 28 hours, and yeah, most other Yakuza games are anywhere from like... if you get lost in the side content, which is definitely what I like to do, it can be up to about 100 hours, give or take. The premise of this game was to sort of serve as a bridge between the ending of Yakuza 6 and certain events that happened in Yakuza 7, and eventually setting up certain things in Yakuza 8. You follow Joryu, as he gets used to his new life as an agent of the Daidoji. Which, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really glad they had that flashback sequence, because I completely forgot who the Daidoji were, and I also had completely forgotten that they were even in Yakuza 7, so the Daidoji really didn't leave that big of an impact on me, and I was like, wait, who are you guys again? But yeah, it definitely, especially certain things that happen later, I'm not gonna say what, I'm not even gonna allude to them, but they really do seem to be setting the Daidoji up to sort of take the place of the Tojo and the Omi in terms of this big, huge presence within the world. Because, yeah, the Daidoji are definitely not a group you want to get on the wrong side of. As far as the overall story, I very much enjoyed the story, especially the twist at the end. That was, oh man, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was like, what? Why? So I'm very, very curious to see how the heck they're gonna implement that thing that happened in the future. Because man, I did not see that coming. My favorite moment easily in terms of the story had to be them revisiting the dissolvement ceremony of the Tojo and the Omi, and getting to see those events from a slightly different perspective. Oh man, and I don't know what they did with those scenes. I don't know if they retouched them, if they re-rendered them in the Gaiden engine or what, because they looked a lot nicer. I don't know if they looked a little sharper or if they just looked a little more detailed, but it's just there was something about them that looked better than they did in Yakuza 7. It could also be, I did play Yakuza 7 on PS4, so maybe that is a factor. Maybe they look exactly the same, I don't know. I played Gaiden on PC. So it could simply just be the graphical quality was just obviously a lot better on PC than on PS4. It was more hype going through it this time than it was the first time around in Yakuza 7. I don't know, man, there was just something about it where it filled me with the jitters, and I was just, it was such a wonderful experience. And I gotta say, the final boss, epic. The final boss was incredible. And where they all rip their shirts off, oh yes, there's just something incredibly, insanely, absolute 100% Kino hype. Is that even a phrase? I don't even care. How do I describe it? There's no words to describe how amazing it is. When they rip their shirts off, they show the back views, they show all their tattoos, and just as everyone's getting ready to throw down. Oh, it's so awesome. Every time they do it in a Yakuza game, it gets me. It's just one of the coolest things. Their choreography, where all the fight scenes and everything, is just top-notch. Absolutely spectacular work. I wish fight scenes in action movies and stuff were this cool. As far as side content goes, there's a plethora of side content. This game definitely, you can tell, was made on a budget. There was more reused assets than usual, it felt like, but it didn't really bother me. It was just something I noticed. I could definitely tell in terms of just NPC animations, things in the game world, assets in the game, just stuff like that. Definitely, if you do the Akame Network stuff all at once, it all feels like filler, because it is just like mindless, I'm in the mood for some rice crackers. Can you go get me a rice cracker? Can you go get me some ramen? Can I have some takoyaki? Or, oh, this dude's threatening to beat me up. Can you beat him up for me? It was just a bunch of like fetch quests and stuff. sometimes you would get one where it's like, oh, I want you to take a picture of this like unique landscape, and they kind of give you a generic hint, and you got to figure it out that way. All the mini games are pretty much the same. The only new one is the hostess minigame, which I only did once in terms of they force you to do it in the main story at one point, but they use real life models instead of the in-game models, and that definitely kind of threw me off the first time I saw it, but it wasn't bad. It was definitely interesting, and I know that they did it this way for a lack of time. I gotta say, it was really cool to see Kei-san. She's a massive Yakuza fan, so to see her actually get to be inserted into a game and actually get to spend time with Kuroda and who knows who else. That's just that I love seeing stuff like that. When you see people who are just crazy mega fans of something getting to meet the people behind them. You know, they usually say that you never want to meet your idols. You never want to meet your heroes. I mean, Kuroda seems like a really cool, really chill dude. And just that was really awesome to see. They brought Pocket Circuit Racing back. That was a ton of fun. But they had all your typical standard card games. They had a couple new karaoke songs, which were really good. Oh, Kiryu dressed up as Onomichio, wearing a Santa outfit. It will forever be ingrained in my brain. Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful image. Even though the song itself sounds like it's a sad song, or at least one of reflection. Which, you know, given Kiryu's circumstances currently, would make a lot of sense. As far as like new characters, I gotta say Hanawa and Akame are two fantastic new characters. There's another dude who's a part of the Daidoji. He kind of acts as like an antagonist to an extent. He's cool from like a villain standpoint, but I personally can't stand him. So I'm excited to see him in the future. It's funny how that works. But yeah, I really hope we get to see Hanawa and Akame again in the future. Even if it's like some kind of minor role. At least for Akame, she seems to be taking over the role of the florist in terms of the Sotenbori area. So I hope they don't give them the Tanimura treatment where they just kind of forget they exist. But I guess we'll see.
Cut it out. Get out of here.
Okay, gameplay. The agent style was a ton of fun. It felt like a mix between Kiryu's Rush style with a bit of Yagami's style thrown into it. It was very fast-paced, very fluid. It was definitely more single target, but some of the extra combos you could do had bits of AoE to them. But the main draw of this combat style is all the gadgets that you can use. From the literal nitro boost shoes that allow you to fly around the map at the speed of sound. And you can even use the shoes to recreate the bowling minigame.
Nice throw!
Yosh. Nani?
Yes, I had to insert that edit that I made into here somehow. I had to. Oh, but you have drones, you have cigarette bombs, you have the wires that you can shoot out, and kind of like Spider-Man. But the agent style is definitely very technical, whereas if you're like me, 90% of the time you're probably just going to be using the Yakuza style because it has charge attacks, which are super OP and have super armor, and you don't flinch when you're charging them, so it just makes fights easier. There's a couple new pretty cool heat moves. Most of them we've already seen. There's a really good one with the agent style where Kiryu takes the cigarette out and he lights it and he throws it behind him. It just blows up. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Yeah. I'd say the gameplay of this game was a very big highlight. It was a ton of fun. One of the bigger side quests, I still never finished it, involves a place called The Castle. You essentially get these arena style fights where you can either choose to do one-on-one, cage style fights. You can do one versus a whole group of enemies. There's like special fights against like Mr. Try and Hit Me. But my favorite aspect of this was the Hell Rumble fights, where you essentially put a team together of up to 10 different allies of all different kinds of just like classes. Some are brawlers, some are defenders, some are healers. Some healers are more attack focused, some defenders are more, well, defensive focused. Some attackers have weapons like knives or iron pipes. Some are more sturdy and harder to knock down. So there is a bit of strategy involved, but for the most part I would say just pick your favorites based on aesthetics, or just, you know, who you like more in terms of the small bits of dialogue you get with them, and just grind away. I feel like you could go in with any team, even all the really the really low end jobber units, and you could still probably get through some of the higher tier fights, no issues. But just those fights were just chaotic and a ton of fun. Oh man, I did those probably like a solid like 4 hours of my playtime was just me doing just the Hell Rumble fights over and over and over and over. That's how much I like them. Oh, yeah, there is another sort of gameplay element that I really hope they bring back in the future. Or, well, in Infinite Wealth and beyond that even. They had a sort of customization, sort of dress-up feature. I know it was in the Judgment games, but it was more for Sayori than Yagami. They did have little disguises for Yagami, but you couldn't wear them outside of very specific missions. This is what I wanted in the Judgment games, where they have all different kinds of outfits. You can pick different shoes, hats, coats, accessories. You can make Kiryu look like an Okinawan tourist. You can make him look like a clown. You can literally make him look like Majima. There's not a ton of options, but what is there is enough that it was fun to mess around and try out different combinations of clothes to see which ones I like the most. My go-to was like a jacket. It was like a leather jacket that was like red, and I would give Kiryu the scar makeup. I would give him a fedora. He kind of looked a bit like a mix between Majima and Arakawa. That's kind of what I was going for. But I gotta say my favorite setup was the what I like to call the Co-Carnage setup, because you could put a beanie on. It's literally just pants, a t-shirt, and a beanie. I like to give Kiryu just the big old retro glasses. Oh, walking around doing side missions looking like that was just hilarious. Where would I rank this game among its contemporaries? I don't know, because this is essentially a side game. It's really hard to compare it to a mainline game. I would say it doesn't crack my top 3. My top 3 are Yakuza 7, Yakuza 0, and Yakuza 5. I liked it more than... That's the thing, is there's so many aspects of all the games that I really enjoy. Like, I love the Majima Everywhere system from Kiwami 1, but I still think I would rank it higher than Kiwami 1. I like the clan battle stuff from Kiwami 2 and Yakuza 6, and I really enjoyed the story of Yakuza 6. And I really love the story of Kiwami 2. Oh yeah, speaking of the story, they do have a bunch of like references and callbacks to older games. It's pretty funny. At least just some funny moments. I have no clue, honestly, where I would rank this among the other games. I would probably say, if I'm doing just like in terms of like a standard tier list, I would say it's like a high B, low A. It's very solid. There's some parts of the game that definitely feel like filler in terms of things they force you to do, but that's kind of normal for these games. I'm not trying to excuse it or give them a pass, because the game's short enough already. Definitely probably could have cut out a little bit of the just repetitive side stuff that they had you do, but overall, the game was very, very enjoyable. I think this game is absolutely worth the price of admission, and I absolutely can't wait to see the potential end of Kiryu's story, Infinite Wealth. I have been essentially spoiler-free I've seen some like random screenshots here and there. I know the, what is it, Dodonko Island? I know there's like some kind of like Animal Crossing element in the game, but other than that, I'm very much blind in terms of the characters and story, especially, which I feel like is the most important. I've seen like random bits of gameplay here and there, but other than that, yeah, I'm very, very excited to get to Infinite Wealth eventually. And I think I will end my thoughts here for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a like on it if you did. Show your boy some love. Feel free to leave a comment telling me your thoughts down below. What were some of your favorite moments from Gaiden? And hey, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out my other content. I'm mainly Falcom focused on the channel, but well, as you can see here, I am looking to branch out to other JRPGs in the future. Possibly Infinite Wealth Let's Play, who knows? It's still up in the air, I don't know. The game's really long. And yeah, subscribe if any of my other content interests you, and feel free to check out any of my other videos as well. But, of course, most importantly, take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Sharing my thoughts with you guys is just, it's always a lot of fun. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.
Alright, what's next?